What did I accomplish in 2023? At the start of 2023, in January, I was actually started to make quite a bit of money. None of it was going in my pocket, but from a revenue standpoint, it looked really good. I was doing the Andrew Tip clip redistribution model, where you are taking clips from long form videos and re-editing them many different times and then posting them across 10, 20 different accounts with the goal to get as much reach as possible, basically paying for organic ads. If one account can get 10,000 views, you can do that across 20 different accounts 5 times a day. That is a lot of volume if you have the quality to match it. I failed that miserably. That is a completely separate time. And I kind of redesigned that to where instead I was just doing the short clip model for people. I was doing that for quite a lot of people because that was pretty scalable, at least from an aspect of how many clients I could take on. It was not scalable in the income because I was on a very small fixed based fee. And I was really, my main goal with it was to learn. So I was kind of just nickel and diming it. I wasn't making too much money because I had to pay for all the staff that I was hiring, but I wanted to learn how to manage people, where that eventually led me to get a lot more connections to where I started to learn a lot about the business. And towards the summer, I went to a conference in LA, Eric Sue's event. It's a pretty expensive mastermind. It was a fantastic. What I learned there, they were all digital marketers. What I've been learning for the past, let's say, 2 years was mainly how to grow organically. They were really paying on how you can pay to grow stuff. And that revolutionized my business, because then I went from offering people X amount from, let's say, just growing organically to then starting to rethink my brain to how can I just increase somebody's revenue. So that was my real mind shift as to the real value I can provide is more views equals more customers. What if I can increase views at the same time helping increase customers? So that was the big light bulb moment for me. And almost 1 week after I went to that event, I tripled my income. I it was insane because all I did was I applied what I learned, and there was very, very basic marketing strategies that I didn't know about, that these guys was secondhand nature. Of course you should be doing it, but none of the people that I was working with were doing it. So I just said, hey, let's all do this. And it worked exceptionally well. And then I completely redesigned my business to where I said, you know what? Instead of trying to take on as many people as possible and trying to provide a very low skilled service for a bunch of people, instead, let me try and take on very few people and just provide as much value as possible to where I can get paid a lot more per client. And so that's what I'm working on now. How can I get as much leverage as humanly possible per client that I'm working with? I still have my initial job that I got, George Gammon. He's not a part of this. I know that some people actually found me from his channel. I don't know how the hell it happened, but I am occasionally on the Rebel Capitalist channel talking to George. I'm on just a flat fee. He's the only reason why I'm able to do any of this, because George is kind enough to take me to every single mastermind, every single place that he goes. He lets me tag along, and then I get to meet all of these other people, and then I get to provide a service for him. So George, all I do is I help him with the research, and then we talk about the kind of the back end funneling stuff, but I don't actually help him with that. All I do is I just learn from him and I do for others. So if you guys think I'm doing this for George, I'm not. And the only reason why I'm saying that is because quite a few people have found me from George's channel. Not sure how. So now let's shift into 2024. What is my goal for expanding? Well, I'm going to be working with Ken McElroy. On Wednesday, I'll actually be moving down. And I actually have so much pressure on myself because their team, I've been talked up so much. They really think I'm going to be able to provide them with a lot of value. And I know that I can provide them with a lot of value, but there's a lot of complexities that go into that. One of the guys that I work with, he has very low expectations for anything. And therefore, little to medium results are far exceeding his expectations. But with these people, their expectations are way up here. That means for me to perform and overperform the expectations, I need to be in the stratosphere and beyond. But I actually think I can do that. So for 2024, at least for the early part, I would really like to farly out exceed my wildest dreams for what we can accomplish with the Ken McElroy team that I will be taking over in Arizona. I've gone over a bunch of different videos how I plan to do that, but I'm just going to go through a very overview as to skimming through what the goals are for 2024. After that 3-month endeavor, I will be driving from Colombia to Argentina, which is like a 3-week road trip using nothing but gold, silver, and Bitcoin for some sort of YouTube challenge for George Gammon channels. And then I don't know what else is going to be going on in 2024. I'm guessing I will definitely still be working with Ken. I'll definitely still be working with the people that I'm working with right now. But how do I get more clients that are quality, where I can have this same type of leverage. It's difficult. It's very, very challenging to do that. It's because I'm doing a revenue share model. I can just take on more clients, get a revenue share, and pile up as many people as possible. But there is problems with that because I'm only really getting 1 year contracts where I'm getting a percentage of the revenue. And if I do my job properly, they're going to want me to kick me to the stand. Maybe not. Maybe they will. But that's not something I want to rely on, that I get all this money in 1 year, but then I'm screwed for the next year and I need to just find a bunch of new people to work with. Ideally, you get the residual income. There was a guy that I met in the sauna a few months back, and at a pretty high-end gym. And he was going over what he does. We were chit-chatting, and of course it came up what he do for a living. And he said that he'd been retired for 30, 40 years. He wasn't even that old. He said what he did is he sold a lot of the labels for the rock bands or something along the lines. There was a rock band where he got royalties for every single time one of those songs were sold or played or something like that. And it was a super famous rock band where I'm sure a lot of you know the name. I'm not going to say it because I don't want to expose this guy that I haven't talked to in months, but he really left this impression on me that if you can do a really good job and get some sort of residual income for life, that is a really good way to live. And he was doing exceptionally well for himself. So for 2024, I'd like to, let's say if this was a video game and there was 100 points for my knowledge skill set for the business that I'm working at. And let's say my service skill set right now is at 40 points. And I think that's pretty realistic. I hope that for at the end of the year, I can be at 80, 90 points. And that might be an unrealistic target, but I do think it's highly possible just with the sheer hours that I will be working this year. This is going to be a very, very busy work year that I'm very excited for. But I kind of don't love doing these videos for just the nature of it. People always say they want to change for some sort of year-long program where you are today is really just a result of your past behaviors. So if you've eaten like shit for the past 4 or 5 years, drinking beers every night and watching Netflix, you're probably not going to be too far along right now from a physique level. But if you've been working out, eating healthy, getting enough protein, then you probably have a pretty good physique now. So if you just do the intraday level things that you know you're supposed to do, not eat junk food, which I am very much a victim to, not watch TV, which I'm also very much a victim to, not scroll on your phone. Again, I'm a victim to it. I'm actively trying to cut it off as much as possible. So what is my goal at the end of the year? I don't know, because I think it is definitely going to depend on how everything works out. Instead of trying to think of where I'm going to be in 1 year, I try and picture where I'm going to be in 5, 10 years. I just try to think on a much longer time horizon, and then what I have to do today to get there. Because if 1 year, there's a lot of up and downs that can go on. Even, I mean, that aren't even necessarily your fault. I could be doing everything right, but there could be external factors that are not letting it happen. 1 year is just not a hell of a long time. So instead, where am I going to be in 10 years if I do the things that I need to do today? That's what I'm really trying to do, is just set myself up for a 10-year period. And I think that is very much possible, but we'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'll check back in a year. I don't know. I wish I thought about this a bit more thoroughly as to what I want to accomplish. But my main goal isn't really monetary. If I'm making as much money now as I am by the end of the year, I guess I wouldn't hate it. It would still be nice. I would like to maybe double, triple my income, but that might be a little unrealistic. Instead, I would rather increase my skill set to a much higher degree, because then I can go into anybody's business, at least in the service that I'm providing, and increase their value to a very, very high degree. So that's the only real goal that I have, is to become a whole lot better at what I'm currently doing. And how do you do that? By doing it. And that's what I'm going to do. Goodbye.